I'm mad that this wall's behind us right now because I think he's sitting about 3 chairs behind you right here.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to have seen the look on his face taking down the first game.
I mean, you know him too. Like, how does he react to moments like that?
So I actually personally met him for the first time in person today.
Oh, wow.
So this is my first time meeting him in person, so I'm not sure what his reaction is like there. I'm definitely going to ask him when we're done, though.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to see, but the next order of business is going to be all the players parachuting in right now.
Spence Hills, I'm calling it.
I mean, I think that that's a pretty clear call here. I'm going to agree that that first ring probably going to be going in there, definitely in that lower portion of the map.
And you can see all these players immediately. So in a normal match, what happens is that every single one of these guys goes for the highest population area that they can. They want high kill games to get higher on the leaderboards, on the online boards. This is not that game. You can see everybody spreading out, trying to get to the edges of the map that are going to be less populated so that they can spend time getting their loot, let other people die, go while they're running around in the cities, and play it to the late game. So you see everybody going away from the center of the map where typically you want to go to the center of the map. And FPS able to swing really long, as we were just talking about, grab himself a car.
Yeah, FPS going to get that police car nice and clean at the beginning, uncontested. We also saw Drop getting the keys out of that Jeep, and then he went inside to loot, but coming on board with Zeeth, just going to absolutely run through this house, grabbing absolutely everything he can. Just want to reiterate, though, if this is the first game that you're watching here today, exactly how this first portion of the game is going to play out. They are going to be looting like crazy here. They came in with absolutely nothing. Everything that they grab here is going to be integral to their survival throughout the rest of the game.
Yeah, definitely. And Zeeth there in a great spot, already has a shotgun, military backpack so he can carry more stuff than the normal backpack. Got a 2-hit out of there, so he's got a full Kevlar armor, which puts him well ahead against the first person he goes into combat with. Chop It Down, on the other hand, he's struggling a little bit. He's only found one gun, one helmet. He does have a vehicle, so he's going to have the option to get out of here and try and go get something from another location. But he is severely lacking on loot right now. If somebody tries to take a fight to him, he's going to be at a big disadvantage.
Yeah, that is definitely the case he finds himself in. I almost thought he was going to flip the car for a second.
Yeah, he kind of hit that weird little bump there. That would have been the worst way to go out.
That would have just absolutely been the worst way to end a day where you already aren't even finding loot. But coming on board right now with Crank on denial, he's finding himself in a pretty good situation here. He's getting pretty well set up, and he also does already have his helmet on as well. Just kind of looking around here. No one near him at the moment. Closest player looks to be Judderson.
Yeah, a lot of players going to be far out from him, but Crank able to loot up a little bit.
Wow,
and we missed again. I went southeast, and it went southwest. Apparently, I'm good at north-south. I am not good at east-west. I need to work on that a little bit. But we're going to have the Run-Amok Lake safe zone here, a little bit off the map on the bottom, which shrinks the initial circle by a little bit more than it normally would. And we're going to see a lot of players, P90 Princess, all the way out at Misty Peak Reservoir. A lot of loot up there, a lot of chances for vehicles. She's going to have to loot that and get out of there, though. She's going to have to travel the longest distance possible on the map to get to the safe zone.
Yeah, and there are quite a few players that are kind of out in the boondocks right now. We also saw Doug is Raw up in that top left portion of your map in that northwest sector. I mean, he's going to have to huff it down as well. And how soon do you think they're actually going to have to start moving over to that safe zone?
Give them a couple minutes here. They'll probably take off in about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes on those far corners, and they'll want to start moving, especially if they don't have a cop car and they are maybe driving a Jeep or on foot or an ATV or anything other than a cop car.
On foot would be pretty brutal.
On foot is going to be brutal. If P90 rolled those dice and ended up with no car up there, she is in a world of hurt.
Yeah, that is definitely the case, and as you can see right now, just kind of have a few players cruising around in their cars. Tran's going to be one of them as he moves around, and it's going to be Cryptic who's going to let the first shots of the game really ring out here. You can still hear them firing, trying to get a little bit of damage into those cars. Now we're on board with Truss. He's got a Jeep of his own, and he's moving right into this camp here.
Yeah, nobody in the area, though. He's going to be able to get some free loot out of here. These are pretty scarce, though, on loot typically. You're going to find a couple scattered weapons, a couple scattered backpacks and things like that, but it's not going to be just packed full of loot. He's going to want to go through here real quick and get out.
Yeah, and it looks like that's exactly what he is going to be doing, but we're jumping back on with Cryptic and BMROG, and we had already seen him perform quite well in the last go. Let's see if he can do it again. Now P90 Princess going to find herself inside of the building. We talked about her quite a bit as well. She came in around 11th or 12th place, I believe, last time around. We're going to have to see if she can outperform that this time around and ensure herself a place in that grand final.
Yeah, so I think that she can definitely do it. She played very well in the first game.
She looked really good in the first game. She was able to slay. She made it past that initial salvo of kills. She avoided the kill feed in that particular position in the game, and that is why she did get nearly to the top 10.
Yeah, she completely avoided that initial Slaughterfest where it went off. We lost about 8 to 10 players at one point, about a 30-second window, and she was able to avoid that, and that's exactly what you want to do.
This is
a
clean fight for Zoltan here, and he is going to go for it, and boom, he is going to be able to take down KJO.
KJO going down early in both games, and that's going to eliminate his chance of going into the finals tomorrow.
We're actually seeing people get sent home right now, and it looks like Zoltan's going to be the first one to do that. That is also going to be first blood of the game, and it looks like Zoltan's not done yet. Going to be cruising on over. He might be looking for another kill here.
Yeah, that's a much later, I believe, probably by about a minute or two later first kill than we saw in the previous match. So finally getting our first blood of the game there, down to 59, and we're gonna hop over with Sword Teenage, who appears to just kind of be cruising through the scenic route here. He's off the road.
Yeah, but Teenage, man, he looked absolutely incredible in warm-ups. This is one of the players that we were really watching in warm-ups. He had some cheeky plays with his smokes. Excited to see what he can pull off here, because we didn't get to see too much out of him in the last game. Now he's stuck in a dance with another cop car, but we're going to jump on board with our good friend Grimmy. Or
so,
sorry, is that not Grimmy?
That's Frosty there, up against Chop It Down, in a really weird spot. It's good that he got out of there. So the way the camera works, when you jam it up against the wall on your back, it's harder to aim when you're stuck between an item like that. So good position for him or good movement for him to recognize that he was in a terrible spot. He wasn't going to be able to take that fight, and he gets out of there and gets up top.
Yeah, this is looking like a much better position to be in now, and we're going to see Choppa Down starting to retreat right now.
Choppa should completely get out of here. Yeah, Choppa should completely leave. At this point, all you're doing is giving Frosty the opportunity to just rip into your car, but Choppa is somebody that is a very aggressive player and likes to take fights. He's binocularing in there, trying to find out what side he's on to try and maybe possibly pre-fire a corner because he knows Frosty's moving around.
We talked about this potentially being the downfall of Choppa Down as well. We were talking about the fact that he might get a little bit too aggressive here, and it seems like he was sticking to that fight for quite some time, still not retreating yet. See those binoculars popping out again, still looking for Frosty.
Yeah, Choppa Down
finally getting out of here.
Yeah, finally recognizes that he needs to go.
That was a little bit crazy coming out of him, but now we're going to look at our champion from the first game. It's going to be dropped. He finds himself in a pretty clean position here, hanging out in the ridges. He's got a Jeep of his own. He's got his helmet equipped. He's
very clearly an NA player.
Yeah, very NA.
Yeah, very NA.
gotta love that.
Yeah. So we're going to hop on board with Rexy, who's rocking the Peak Scrubs, looking good. And he's running around, binoculars out. I guess he's most likely just trying to scout ahead of himself and work his way across the map. He is on foot, and he has got to hoof it to that safe zone.
Now on board with Lifted. Lifted looked really good in that first game. Expect to see a lot out of him here. I think he got taken down a little bit earlier than we expected as well. Still, though, ultimately having a pretty good finish. To FPS coming down the corner of your map as well. And
P90 is out of there already. P90 already making quite a bit of distance, and Vex Mickey now losing the race to the circle.
Yeah, well, P90 was all the way up by Misty Peak at the beginning.
She had the longest way to go, for sure.
I think she was pretty cognizant of the fact that she needed to move out. Don't mind that at all. We are going to see Doug is raw inside of that police car right now, and he's moving all over, just sticking to the road here.
I believe Doug actually went down to 10K in the top 10 in last game, so only two people on the screen right there. We'll see if those two meet up again in this round.
That would be justice if he was able to bring him down, but expect to see that fight a little bit later on. Crank on Denial now on your screen, still looting it up as much as he can. And he is set up very well at this point, and we expect to see that from most of the players, but he's got pretty much his full setup.
Yeah, most guys should be in that position already. Rexy stopped moving for some reason. It looks like he may have tried to go into his inventory for something, and he is up against Isco, and this is not going to be a very fun fight for Rexy, and Rexy accidentally swaps back to his binoculars and tries to swap back. but that delay ends up getting him killed when he tries to swap weapons, and Isco gets a clean kill.
You don't want to be down in a fight against Isco either. When he entered that fight, he was about 2 shots down, so that was a little bit of a mess for him. But jumping back on with Trance. Trance has been hanging out in this Jeep the entire time.
Also, very NA.
Also
very patriotic.
Very, very patriotic. And we're seeing that quite a bit out of a lot of our NA players here today. Just really enjoying being in Georgia and cruising around in a Jeep.
Yeah.
Don't
and
mind
right back to Dropped and his Jeep.
He's going to get out of that Jeep for a little bit, though, see what he sees on this map. And he's not going to find much. He is pretty much in the clear here.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those safe zones, so this is different. So let's talk about this a little bit. This is a very different safe zone from what we previously saw. This is going to be open field. Part of this, the lake is basically unplayable. You, for the most part, don't want to be there. It's completely open. There's not any cover. There's not rocks. There's no ridges. There's nothing to really make use of. So these guys are going to have to play out in the open in most of these situations. This safe zone will probably center in down towards Green's Overlook and this water, which is going to make a huge play. All these guys out in the middle of Runamuck need to get out of there.
Yeah, exactly. Last time around, we actually saw everything play out on Ranchito. Obviously, a lot more cover, some buildings that you could be on top of. This time around, that is not the case, and expect to see the kills show it here. And we are going to see Rogue being opening up on Lenara. Watch quite a bit of Lenara actually play in CA and things of the like. Very strong player.
Yeah, Lenara's actually did really well, placed top 10 for our online season in the CA matches that you were talking about. Placed top 10, ended up going down very early. Lenara was the first kill in game 1, though.
Lenara was the first one to go down in game 1, and now we only have 2 kills on the board currently, so doing a little bit better.
Yeah, doing a bit. And again, because of this safe zone, people aren't being forced into cities where people are already sitting on roofs and other things. This is a much different safe zone, like we were saying. It's going to play out different, and this is the one that plays out slower. Your cities get forced into situations where people are stuck in a corridor to walk through. They have a lot more outs and options when it's out in the
they're
fields.
actually like choke points and things like that.
Yeah.
And with this, people are also going to be a little bit scared, right? I mean, the whole thing is that you basically are in the open, so everyone's kind of looking for cover, and they don't necessarily want to take those fights until they can ensure their own safety.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody just kind of spread out, though. Again, we got Class here who actually snuck into that top 10 scenario. I think he actually took 10th, and he snuck in without us ever really catching him in the last game. So maybe we'll get to see him get a couple kills this round.
Yeah, it's starting to get a lot tighter, though, as people have moved over to where the gas is. And now we are going to see some serious shots coming out, and mostly just trying to sink those shots into the car here. It doesn't look like necessarily going for the kill, but we can see Blood Inferno has taken a little bit of damage here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Blood Inferno took it early before he got in the car or if he got hit there as he was driving by. It looks like he has a heel rolling, so I'm thinking they may have fought earlier, and then he's just driving by to get out of there. Measley with his back against the gas and using the car to protect his front. So as long as nobody walks out right behind him, which I imagine he'll turn every few seconds to check, he's in a decent position there. He's got decent cover.
That is for sure. Now Measley, that was the player that we saw up early on that roof and ultimately got pushed out by the gas. Now Samuel just going to be taking as many shots as he can into Isco. And we can see Measley trying to pinch onto Samuel right now.
Yeah, both of these are long-range shots. We're talking about 230 meters out. We're also talking about elevation changes and other things that these guys are having to account for, which makes these super long-range shots really hard to find. And you see them start off slow, and as we're talking about, you don't hit those first shots and you kind of get frustrated. You start kind of hitting the shots a little bit faster and start spraying the shots to try and find a connection.
Yeah, you can literally hear it. It's like tat tat, and then all of a sudden it's just like
you
tat,
hear
tat,
the
tat,
frustration.
You can just hear how angry they're getting that they can't connect. We are going to see Blood Inferno, though, easily able to get out of that scenario, moving around in his Jeep. It looks like he's moving closer to the action for sure. Starting to close in on quite a few players here. The question is when is it really going to start to pop off? Look, it is not spread out anymore as we actually get into this ring.
Yeah, I mean, this ring also, once again, not built. I mean, we're definitely over the fire code once again. We got way too many people in the circle, and you're going to start seeing people drop off real quick.
Only 2 people have died so far, and on top of that, this ring is almost cut. There's a third of it that you can't even play. So it's like 2/3 what we're used to. It's going to be quite brutal.
Yeah, absolutely. FJ here playing the top of this ridge. This is a really good ridge, and like I was talking about with the water, you can see down into it. There's no cover down there. So effectively, you consider that part of the gas ring. don't go in there. That's a no-man zone.
For sure, yeah, and that is going to be coming into effect very soon. As you can see right now, no one deciding to engage with each other yet. And if you're listening closely at home, there are no shots being fired right now. People are done looting for the most part. That's not what's going on, but we're going to see that Molly come flying out here. This could be a fight to the death. I think we might see some people start to fall. Zeke is going to be one of them. That is the third kill of the game, but it doesn't look like the fights are over yet. Imperial finding himself in a pretty interesting position here. He's going to be able to get these shots into the Jeep. He's getting some clean fire here. Ultimately, it looks like Keebler going to pop out, and now another two have fallen, and Rogue Drop has fallen down.
Drop going out early here. We'll have to see how the points work out, and that is not the way to throw a Molotov. You typically want to throw it at the other person and not at yourself. But you also heard that Jeep, he got enough shots into the other player's Jeep that the Jeep is now on fire and it is going to be gone. So he at least took away the vehicle from the other player.
Now players are falling left and right. We're going to see figures fall down as well, but Drop, that was first place of the last game, falling out around the 56 mark there.
Yeah, I expect him to still, I think points-wise, he'll still make it unless everybody else.
100K is, he almost has 200K points, so that is going to be quite a lot. And now we are going to hear those shots firing out from Imperials still after already lighting himself up.
So Keebler came down, hopped out of his vehicle, jumped out on the vehicle that blew up just to check to see if whatever was in the trunk fell on the ground, because sometimes it'll drop a gas can or something when you blow the vehicle up. Yep. Checks, immediately back in his vehicle and out.
Good play by him. And we are kind of seeing right now Lifted still taking this high ground here in the Riches. This is where we've seen him pretty much throughout the entirety of the game, and it is a strong position, but we do see Judderson up in that corner may have a line on Lifted, trying to see what the actual distance is here. That could be dangerous for Lifted.
I think Judderson is just barely off. I think there's a little ridge line in between them, more of like a little, think of like a little finger sticking off the edge. Yeah, he's going to be tucked away in there and chop it down, opening onto Shurima. Shurima shows no fear as he hops and takes a shot at Choppa. We'll see if he decides to push this or not.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to push a little bit here. We do see Choppa down behind that rock.
Yeah, it looks like he wanted to keep the pressure there. It looks like he may have hit a makeshift or a body armor, and Choppa is bleeding, and he may have wanted to push that fight, but he decided it was way too early to get that aggressive.
But Shurima Wizard still is keeping the pressure on. I mean, he does take a slightly defensive move to move back a little bit. Now jumping on board with Isco. We can see Zeeth just fall, but Isco right before that, he was the last person to put a kill on the board. He's playing the way that we expect Isco to be playing. He is slaying very heavy in this match compared to the other players.
Isco is not afraid to take a fight. He will take a fight. If he knows he's in a one-on-one situation, he will probably take the fight 10 out of 10 times.
That's Blood Inferno coming out early again. That may spell defeat for him, but now we are in an engagement between Keebler, and Keebler is just going to be brought down by Monster.
Yeah, I think Keebler thought he was maybe a little bit farther forward, but I think his little feet were sticking out there underneath the bridge and got popped.
Yeah, now we're going to see Monster just insult to injury, getting a few more shots out there. And it looks like, oh, his helmet's going to get popped right now by Milky Day. And we saw Milky Day be so aggressive in the last game. Is he going to try to close this space here? He took the helmet. I think that's just going to be enough of a win for him.
Yeah, you're gonna end up seeing these players again. And we watched Milky and we watched Cryptic go off last game with shotguns. This is not a shotgun safe zone. This is an AR, AK, proper use of throwable type of safe zone.
Yeah, I mean, that was, you said it perfectly. That was a big thing that was actually going on in the last game. I mean, in those first 5 kills, I believe 2 of them were 1 pumps from peaks. So, like, when we actually get into this game, we're not seeing any of those shotgun kills coming out. Yeah. Now we are going to see Broderick falling as well.
And Disturbed Gaming went down to the gas there at the same time.
Yeah, players are finally starting to fall, and I hear the siren, Supersonic.
And that means that we're launching off to close this gas wave, and we should see another one again in about 30 to 45 seconds when it closes in. But Monster going to go ahead and hop in this vehicle after getting the loot off of his kill from earlier, and he's going to start moving class in an uphill battle against Huskers at the moment, and he is going to lose his makeshift as he tries to make his way back down the hill, takes another shot, and he is now 2 shots behind in this fight, which he doesn't appear to want whatsoever. He is just dipping back out into the trees there, and Isco lands himself another kill onto Imperial Hal.
This is huge for Isco. I mean, this is 3rd or 4th kill that he's already put onto the board, trying to get a good placement here definitely looking primed to do so, but we're going to jump on board with Cass here.
Yeah,
inside that
Casper, who
police
played the
car.
roof last game, is what we were watching him do. We'll see if he
That's
can.
another one for Isco.
Another
Took
one
down
for Isco.
Samuel.
Samuel, who got, I'm trying to remember who it was. He got a big kill last game, and I think Samuel,
Right in the end there.
did Samuel get dropped this game?
Samuel just got taken down by Isco.
I think that he might have taken out Dropkid earlier.
Oh,
in the
yeah,
match.
yeah, he did.
He did,
Yeah. Sorry, I misunderstood what you were saying there. Yeah, he took down Dropped, who was the winner of the first game. So Samuel was looking good. Samuel has, throughout both of these games, like you mentioned, been getting these clutch kills. A lot of these really big kills on big-named players. But this time around, it does not look like he is going to be able to stay any longer because he was cut down by Isco. Makeshift going to be popped off from Monster. And he is going to get out of here, and you can see his car has been degraded quite a bit. And now we jump right into another fight, and it is lifted also from Rogue, and he is going to be getting some shots in to the player from STDX. Not able to connect too much there, and now we're back on board with Isco, and it looks like he's getting in with a cheeky little pinch here, trying to close out another kill.
This is not the spot you want to be as Class. You do not want to be in between Lifted and Isco. This is not a good spot.
Someone must give here. It looks like someone is definitely going to fall, and you can hear the shots coming from all directions here, and Class just kind of diving back and forth, and ultimately it is going to be Isco to get another kill on the board. This looks really good for him in the slay department, in the point department, but we could see some shots coming into him here. So he now has his eyes on Milky Day. Isco staying aggressive here in order to defend himself.
Yeah, he recognized that he was in a pinch play with Lifted up the hill, realized that he was about to be pinched after he got hit by Milky, and decided to rotate out and make sure that he got a small ridge line between him and Lifted. You don't want to get into that situation again. Getting pinched by anybody is a bad situation.
I mean, it's almost a guaranteed death. It definitely is, and you can see Isco being very mindful of it. He goes in on the pinch, but he doesn't want to play greedy, ultimately able to move out there, and like you said, that rotation is going to gain him his life. Now Lifted is up on top of this field. Isco, does he not know Milky Day's there? Yeah, I think he's got a pretty good idea that Milky Day is close by.
P90 parked almost vertical on the side of a hill in her cop car. Still in this game, and Lifted going to land himself another kill onto Frosty.
That is going to be another one going home. We almost have sent home 20 players at this point from this game. We're getting dangerously close. Jeesh now. Jeesh doing much better than that first game, and this was one of the players we highlighted to see if he would do better. Isco going to drop this defensive smoke here, trying to keep himself out of this pressure. And you can hear the shots flying right now. It looks like Prox is taking some damage off in the distance here. But it's going to be Isco to see P90 Princess trying to get a couple of shots into her vehicle.
P90 in a rough spot here. She's going to need to turn around and get up this mountain and out of that gas. Isco in the same situation. He should be able to find himself a path up. And this next safe zone is going to announce, and we are still going to the overlook. So we're going to have a lot of trees, a lot of ridge lines, a lot of different little hills in here. And you're going to see a lot of like quick peek battles and pinch plays that come out. And Lifted trying to spot Isco. Knows that he's in the gas and he's hit him. He's now in a fight with somebody else. We'll see if Lifted can spot Isco again.
Isco taking some serious damage here. Will this be enough to send him home? You can see he just got some body armor back on. He still has that helmet. Gonna need to use those smokes. Trying to get into this cover between the tree, but it looks like he's getting pinched. Is he going to fall? Starting to heal himself up a little bit here, and we are going to see Doug is raw falling while this fight is going on. Isco not completely clear, though, from this gunfire. Starting to get a little bit healthy here, but is still one shot down. Duke now on the ATV. We find him about 2 shots down.
And Lifted, gonna get eliminated, and I believe that is going to basically seal his fate there. I don't think that he is going to advance tomorrow. Prox takes out Lifted here in 43rd place.
And Prox was a big performer in that last game as well. Now he's starting to get some serious shots out. It seems like he has his eyes on Soar Rogue. Another player is going to fall. It's going to be Kingly now. We are almost in our top 40. Who is going to be the last player to not make that top 40?
Yeah, Rogue and Prox here now just kind of in about 100-meter range battle there, throwing shots back and forth. And we've got Balin up against Grimmy Bear as FJ and Lenara fall to Bizarre and Gotaga. Measly actually getting a 90% play on FJ. He gets his 1,000 points taken from him.
We are going to see, once again, Milky Day going to be in that kill feed, that aggressive player. Isco engaged in a gunfight with Memento here. Memento seems to be getting pinched because some serious damage is coming in from somewhere. Smoke does come down, trying to get those defensive plays going, and in these smokes, we see Bazaar go down and Zoltan fall. We're down to 35. It is just absolutely lighting up. It's impossible to stay up to date with it as Memento falls as well.
Yeah, Jefferson also goes down and gets a kill after the fact to the person dying in the gas. Jeesh goes out in 30 seconds to Saint die. Actually gets the trade. They eliminate each other, and then Isco finds himself another kill after playing himself out of that bad situation with the smokes, and you can see him using them again, but he lands that kill onto Liam and a little bit more loot.
I think the big Isco's kind of just been the MVP of this game for sure. Playing like an absolute madman.
Hurrah,
Casperific, yeah, going to be able to take down Hurrah. And just like that, the game has flipped, and I think a big thing is just the landscape has changed so much, and now in another fight here, Grimmy Bear taking some serious damage, trying to finish off Measly. They're about even in this fight.
Yeah, just about even there. I think Grimmy's a little bit ahead. Grimmy's already got a new makeshift on. He's going to be able to roll a heal real quick. Measly will not try to engage again right here unless he can see that he's sitting still. I don't expect Measly to try and take a shot. We lose Transpair to Crank, and we lose Prodigy Aces to Ashton. Some fat kid from last game goes down to Isco, and Soar Rogue lands a kill onto Casperific. Isco's absolutely going off, and he's going to start smoking himself off again. He's going to find a spot, lay down, needs to heal again, and we'll see if he can get in another fight.
Yeah, Throwable could have been really dangerous there to potentially finish him off, but it looks like he is going to be safe for now.
Prox is going off this game.
Yeah, Prox just started to go off as well. Prox and Isco being those two players playing like absolute madmen. Our top 20 is now officially here, and that's going to ensure the fate of quite a lot of these players. It looks like they are not going to be able to qualify for the Grand Finals. Only 20 players moving forward with combined scores from this game and the previous game to go to that Grand Final to play for $100,000. And Gotaga going to be sent home alongside Duke, and the ring is getting tighter.
Only one player, Crank, is the only one in the safe zone. Shurima now joining him in that circle, and those are the only two there. And the helmet gets ripped off of Crank up the hill, loses his makeshift, goes down to one shot, and we're probably going to see Monster get the finish there. He does with the assist from Shurima. Shurima saying that that circle was his and forces him out.
Tross and FPS both going to fall here, and they were players who we saw do incredibly well in the last game, but Isco is just absolutely so low here, and he's just trying to inch on with his life. He must be out of smokes, too. With how we've seen him play, he was using these smokes so defensively.
He's got to be out.
Right?
He would have thrown one if he had one. 10K getting another kill. 10K now guaranteeing himself, I believe, into the tomorrow. He placed top 20 in both games.
Isco is going to fall down here. He gets 13th place. But the thing is, with the amount of kills that Isco put up onto the board, I feel like it's probably in the area of above 8.
I think that the way the scale works, he's probably closer somewhere around maybe 11th or 10th.
Yeah, that's
just because it scales up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think that he definitely jumped a couple positions. He had a ton of kills. He was slaying out.
For sure. Now, P90 Princess having a great game this time around. Chop it down. We said he may have been in a position where he could play too aggressive. He is going to be able to ensure himself a kill, and he's very close to that top 10. P90 Princess finds herself very low inside of the smoke, going to be able to heal herself up from now.
That might have hit. That looked like it might have been close enough. Grimmy may have caught the edge of that
flashbang,
flashbang.
sure.
But Cryptic BMR, the Slayer from last game, goes down to P90, and then we lose Prox to Soar Teenage. Grimmy Bear still here looking to get this fight with Monster. He knows he's there. He's just not quite ready to take the fight, and here comes the fight. Grimmy firing uphill onto Monster. Monster lands a shotgun shell to take off the makeshift from Grimmy. Grimmy getting pinched now from the side by 10K. Finds a nice little ditch, though, that protects him from both sides, and I think he's going to get to heal up. Grenades raining out of Monster. This is a rough spot for Grimmy.
Yeah, I mean, that spot was nice. Bought him a little bit of time, but don't get me wrong. He is still getting collapsed on. Grimmy Bear finding himself in a dangerous position. I just saw a molly fly up in the air. Not going to connect with Grimmy Bear, though, at this time. Needs to find more healing as soon as he can, and this is good. He finds a way to rotate around. Needs to get in a gunfight with only one instead of two players, but Shurima Wizard going to be able to bring down 10K.
Yep, Shurima eliminates 10K. 10K, great performance in both games, though. We'll be seeing him tomorrow, I'm almost positive.
Yeah, I think that is a relatively safe bet to have right now.
I put money on it.
Grimmy Bear still, though, hasn't found himself a very good position to be in. Going to be taking some shots. P90 Princess now collapsing onto Shurima Wizard. Wants to take this fight. It's going to be Soar Teenage to fall down first. Will Princess be able to finish it off? Shurima Wizard is going to fall. A clean kill from Princess. She has ensured herself a place in that top 5. And now it's Ashton. He's still a little bit weak after this fight. If Princess can find him in time, she is going to be leading in this fight, but going to play it safe here. Going to start to heal up.
Yeah, gets a new helmet on, getting some heals, still wearing a 2-hit. Ashton looks like he's eating gas at the moment, needs to get out of there. He's down to 1 shot. If P90 can spot him, he is going to go down.
Grimmy can spot
just
him too.
look over the hill, buddy. He's coming, man.
Yeah, he needs to see that in his peripherals, but Ashton, as we can see, is using those ridges for some really good cover that's going to break LOS, but now Grimmy Bear starts to rotate towards. Did he hear Ashton? Will he be able to peek out and grab this kill? Ashton, though, crouching very effectively. But Grimmy Bear gets his eyes on him. Will he be able to sink any of these bullets into him? Starting to get relatively low. Grimmy Bear going to be able to move up and clean pop off that helmet, get the kill, but P90 Princess in the wings is going to be able to finish it off, getting Grimmy Bear down right after that engagement. We have a top 2.
And she is going to go
like
down.
That, Monster going to be able to come in and clean it up. P90 Princess, though, having an incredible performance that time around, saying she did well in the first game, but not being able to get all of the way